Welcome to the May I Share podcast. Today, hosts Duke and Tom sit down with Kevin Norwacki from Elevate Performance. Kevin shares how he and his business partner have woven their Christian faith into everything they do at their health center, because for them, it's more than a gym, it's a mission field. It's a conversation about what it looks like to run a business with purpose and pursue eternal impact in everyday spaces. Learn how you can get involved in the show notes. Be blessed.
Hello, men in Central Ohio. It's so great to have you with us. As you know, we want to highlight different ministries that men could get involved with or just learn about them. And so I'm the host, Duke Heller. We have Tom Akas, our co-host. Wait till you meet Kevin. Here's a young man. How old did you say you were?
29.
29. Now, please don't take this the wrong way, audience. I have underwear older than that. But at any rate, it's so great to have you. And so, Kevin, tell us kind of your life story, how you came to know the Lord, and then what led you into doing what you're doing now, if you would, please.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, thanks for having me. It's such an honor to be here. I know there's tons of pretty incredible men coming on here. I saw that list, and women, saw that list of people you were having come in, and I'm like, that's good. Well, there's going to be some good episodes. So I'm excited to tune in, and thank you for including me on that.
You're welcome.
I'm super excited. I'm from the Akron area originally, and I grew up in the Catholic Church. I always say, like, I knew of God. I didn't know God. I feel like that's pretty common, especially in people's lives around me in the Catholic Church or just growing up in the church. It's you're around the faith, but you maybe don't know God as much as we probably should.
You got two that grew up that way too.
There you go.
We understand.
And so I went off to college at the University of Dayton to study mechanical engineering, and it's a Catholic university, but you step foot on campus, you probably would not know that. And there's lots of partying, and it's a really big party school, and just was not walking with the Lord at all. I was primarily in mechanical engineering because my whole family's that way. That's just kind of like the path set before me. And near the end of my curriculum there, before I was getting my degree, I can look back and confidently say, now God was tugging on my heart a little bit, saying, this is not for you. Like, I have more for you in life. I was at the time working in the basement of a lab, seeing like 3 humans a day. And it was cool. The work was incredible, but it was not fulfilling. And it didn't feel like I was stepping into my purpose here. And so I know God was kind of pulling on my heartstrings a little bit and tugging me to go elsewhere. And so kind of really reflected, and it led me to go back to school for physical therapy. And so I went to go study physical therapy at Ohio University down in Athens, and got in a pretty serious relationship at that point. Thought she was the one, really into a deep relationship. And looking back, it was a very unhealthy relationship. There was just a lot of problems, unfaithfulness, and it left me in a really, really dark spot, just a really big hole. And one of my best friends, who's also my business partner at Elevate, and he was there for me. And he was really, really supportive and encouraging, and kind of just challenged me, like, dude, you are not yourself. Like, this is not good. You're falling apart. Like, just come to church with me. And I'm like, all right, we'll do that. I'll come check it out one time. Like, I believe in God at this point still. So I go in and check it out. And you grow up in the Catholic Church, and you show up at a non-denominational Christian church, and people got their hands up and praising. And I'm like, what is going on? Right. It's kind of a super interesting thing, but the message was super convicting, and I could feel God's presence, and it drew me back. And then I kept coming back. So I ended up driving up from Athens every weekend to go to church with Kenton, and he was really, really helpful for me and for my development, and kind of walked with me through this new relationship with God, understanding his heart and who he is as an alive person, right? In Jesus, he's alive, and it was really, really powerful. And alongside of that, we were also starting this business, right? So Elevate Human Performance. We were both physical therapists. We both had a desire to really, really help people. And so we were growing in faith together, and then also growing this business together. And so when we graduated from PT school in 2023, we started our own business. And that was Elevate Human Performance. And it was primarily physical therapy for people recovering injuries. And at this point, we had both really given our lives to Jesus, and kind of transformed our view of the world, our perspective of life. And it was really, really powerful and amazing. And then we helped one of our dear friends, Will, start a ministry called Run with Christ, which is a run club, right? And you say run club because
Yeah.
it's way more than a run club. And so we helped them start that ministry last September. Well, I guess 2 Septembers ago, 2024. And that just like skyrocketed my faith and Kenton's faith. It surrounded us with believers who were on fire for the Lord and like burning. And that really just took our faith to the next level and really made us look at our business again and say like, okay, we can have this business that helps people, but do we have a business that's a ministry that's like leading people to Jesus and outwardly showing people who Jesus is and what he's like. And so that point was a huge tipping point. We had a really solid, strong business that was built around helping people. But now after that, it's really built around showing people who Jesus is. And so that kind of leads us to this point. We've been in our new space, which is in the Bexley area, for about 1.5 years. And we're running really strong with the gospel and using our business, physical therapy and gym and all these other things as a ministry.
I'll share my tagline with you then.
Okay, let's go.
Because my motto is it's spiritual before mechanical.
Sure.
It sounds like that's what you guys have
That's so good.
gone to.
That's so good.
And another question. What's the date you were duked?
When I got dunked?
Duked.
No, Duke. He and I haven't met for lunch yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
always
this is-
take people to lunch, and
Oh, okay. Well, you haven't had your opportunity.
right.
Sure.
And so I haven't, but I will take it.
Yeah, you'll have one.
I
Wow,
just
this
always
is-
make sure people
Yeah.
can point to a time and date.
Or circumstance.
In
Yeah.
which they got saved?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I know when that was. It just was unfamiliar with the terminology, but I was at Man Camp through Crossroads Church, and it was September 27th, 2023.
Okay, well, we're gonna have
Praise
T-shirts
Jesus.
printed one day
All right.
for all the speakers,
Come
and
on.
we'll have your date in
Let's
there.
go.
So
Yeah.
we got it on record.
Yeah, it was great. It was incredible.
That's great, buddy. Well, I've had a saying probably for 35 years. I trained a lot of dentists how to do dental implants. But I would tell people, whether I talk in front of 1,000 dentists or 1,000 people in a church, I'm in full-time ministry. I just do it as a dentist.
hmm
And God allowed me to teach a lot of dentists and their staff. And nobody came through my program out of 1,500 doctors bringing their staff that didn't hear about Jesus.
Sure.
So I'm excited to hear exactly how your ministry works. You and I both know Sam Kuhn very well.
hmm
And Sam said, Duke, you got to have Kevin on. You're going to be so blessed. And I recall he told me a story, I believe, about his secretary. Is that what I remember?
Yeah. That's
Could
correct.
you share that with us?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm going to back up just a tiny bit to share a little bit more about our business as a whole and
Good.
where that can come into play. But you mentioned full-time ministry. This was something that really floored me at one point in my walk in our development as a business too. So I mentioned Run with Christ, which is an incredible ministry here in Columbus, and now it's in like 60 cities around the world. It's really blown up. But I really was like neck deep in this ministry. We were really helping this get off the ground, and it really led me to say like, oh my gosh, should I be doing this business? Like maybe I should be doing full-time ministry. Like you start asking these questions of where do I reside? Is this my purpose? And I really wrestled with this for a little while, but then I was reading John Mark Comer, if you're familiar with him, and Practicing the Way, and he led the same challenge. He's like, if you're a Christian, everything you do is full-time ministry.
Correct.
Like this is full-time ministry. And man, it really changed my perspective on how I operate every single day in business. And so now we're very faith forward and like operate as a ministry within our business. So that's like, that resonates with me a ton, and that's how we operate. But we started with primarily physical therapy, one-on-one services to help people recover from injuries, get out of pain, or just move and train their bodies better. But we also have a 24/7 gym. We have personal trainers. We have group fitness classes. We've got a recovery suite with sauna, cold plunge, all this stuff. And I say that because now we have a bigger reach. One thing that we were finding was it was a little challenging, not bad, but just challenging that I could only see one person at a time, right? As I could have incredible, powerful, life-changing conversations in our physical therapy sessions, but they would get better and they'd leave, right? They had nowhere to stay. They had nowhere to find community. There was no other touch points to bring other people in the door. And so we really wanted to expand our reach to other areas that people could come in and find Jesus first and foremost, but then also community, people that they could learn how to train their bodies and steward their bodies well, learn how to follow Jesus better with people around them, right? Learn how to find new community, leave your old world behind and step into new things. And so now we have all of these different legs or branches of our business that help people get integrated or find Jesus through various means. So physical therapy is still the primary service that I operate, but we did expand it into all these things, and I'll touch more on those, how we help people from a ministry perspective and all those different areas. So physical therapy, right? If people are unfamiliar with what that is, it's really a means to help people recover, learn about their bodies, get out of pain, and things like this. And I can go on and on about the state of the industry of physical therapy. It's kind of in shambles in healthcare as a whole. And so we really wanted to step out of the traditional model of physical therapy so that we could truly care for people as people. In big hospital systems or under the influence of insurance agencies, it's really hard to give people and like look them in the eye and hear their story and tell them about Jesus. It's really hard to do that. And so we wanted to step out of this traditional mold and have the opportunity to do that, so we could really care for people. So I meet Sam through the Summit Outdoors and a really great organization out in Hilliard, and we get plugged in with that group and meet Sam and just hit it off right away. He's such an incredible person. I love Sam so much. And his secretary is dealing with chronic back pain, years of back pain, and she couldn't even sit down at work. She couldn't come into work. She couldn't get in her car. And so he's like, I don't know what to do. She's going to have surgery. Can you try and see her? Sure, absolutely. And so we started working together, and you could just see, like, she was in back pain, but this wasn't a back problem. There was so much fear and anxiety and misunderstanding, depression, just these things like piled up on top of each other that was keeping her from, sure, doing things and not being in pain, but feeling confident in herself, trusting her body, believing in herself. Like, there was just zero hope in her eyes. Like, day one, tell me what's going on. Tears, right? There's just like, there's no way to get out of this, even if we do the right exercises. She don't have the hope, understanding, the belief, and we just want to create a space for that. And so we committed to spending, a period of time together to really work on this. And I think a lot of people, they come in having a perception of what physical therapy is going to look like, and I probably guarantee whatever she had in mind was not what happened, right?
Yeah.
Because we end up talking about some really hard things and finding where her identity lies in, like what her hope actually is in. Because if it's going to just be with the world, it's going to falter and it's going to be all over the place and really, really hard. And so we would start talking about that, and it provides a space where people are vulnerable and searching and like asking these big questions to bring faith up. And so we brought up some really cool faith conversations, got her to really hear the gospel and go back to church. We get to pray together between sessions, and just really, really powerful, this very holistic view of healing. And we really don't look at it as physical therapy. It's like restoration, right? It's like we're healing your soul. We're also healing your body and your mind and everything in between. So that was a really, really powerful, cool experience, and a really cool chance for Sam to see firsthand kind of how we operate outside of the norm and operate for people.
Yes, yeah. I believe he told me, are there 3 or 4 phases in your business? I know that you got the physical, you got the spiritual, the mental. Are they, obviously you can use them all, but did I hear Sam right? That
I think there's definitely these different elements of how we work. There's no system in place for it, just because people come in with different stories, different backgrounds, different understandings, different levels of faith. We come in and some people are really strong believers, right? We see a couple pastors, and those are really different conversations and different elements that we work on than someone who doesn't know Jesus. And I think one of the things that's so powerful about what our position is, we get in this environment that's one-on-one, and very quickly it's a trusting environment. You need to have trust. And so we do that. We break down walls, and like I think we're all as Christians called to go evangelize, but sometimes that's a challenge. You meet someone on the street and there's no trust. There's like walls you have to get over. And so we're in an environment where trust is made very quickly.
Yes.
Right. And so those conversations look different from patient to patient, but they all very much allow us to go deeper and have these serious conversations of who are you?
Yes.
What's going on? What do you need help with? Like, and it's not just like back pain, right? It's always like, no. Why does that matter to you?
Yes.
Like, what does that matter? What does that mean to you and why?
Mm-hmm.
And it always leads to very, very, very transformative thinking and approaches, right? I always think of this example. I had another gentleman who came in for back pain. I'm like, why are you here? So, my back, it's been hurting me for 8 months. I can't deal with it anymore. I'm like, okay, why? And you keep asking these questions. Why? Why does it matter? What does that mean to you? Why is that important to you? And you get to the bottom of it. That's really like, well, I can't throw my kid in the pool and I don't feel like a dad. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, oof, there's something to get rooted on. Right. And like really hold on to and work with going forward. And so I think there's no phases or systems in place. It's more so just an artful dance, so to speak, meeting the person where they're at. And then using that to help them heal in whatever way is necessary for them.
How do you plan to grow this ministry?
It's a really good question. I think that there's one element of the greater scope of Elevate, like I mentioned, with the gym and the personal trainers. Like we really help train these guys to understand how to love people and point them to Jesus. And so we'd love to have more locations around Columbus just to reach more people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the deep thing that I'm looking for is how to train physical therapists into loving people very deeply and changing the perspective from how do I get this person out of pain to how do I restore this person? How do I help this person restore through the works of Jesus, through the understanding of who he is, how he saved us, as well as the physical medicine side of things. And so I think that down the road, there's an element, right? I mentioned I'm 29. We're still like new in this,
Yes.
in this journey. But I think there's a future element that's like training the next generation of physical therapists that want to help people more than just in the physical sense.
Yeah.
So if I walk in off the street, see your sign.
Yeah.
How do I know you're a Christian organization, or are you just open to everybody and you just share Christ as you develop a relationship?
Yeah, I think that if you go to our website, it's right there on the first page, right, where faith is helping you become the healthiest version of yourself. You'll see our core values littered with scripture all over the place. We're very faith forward on that. We're getting those like plastered on our walls where people can see Bible verses there. We oftentimes will have a question board on our like cubbies in the gym with asking questions, and you'll see Jesus written all over it. So there's no hiding from it. We're pretty outspoken about it, pretty faith forward, and just conversations are pretty open, right? I mean, you'll see around, we've got a lot of friends and other people in ministry around just like praying for people in the gym, right? And so I think that's there is an element about faith forwardness, but then you get people who don't know Jesus or are unfamiliar with this stuff who come to we got a cool gym too.
Right. That's what I mean.
We got a cool
Yeah.
gym. And we've literally asked people like, why are you guys so nice? Like I've never had someone ask me my story before. Like I'm at a gym. And I think people just see something different too, right? I don't think that it's a place where if you're not a Christian, you can't belong. Like we have tons of people who are in different walks of life. They may have a different religion or different sexuality, but we still love them. That's what we're called to do. And so I think there's an aspect of that too, where it just feels different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it reminds me of the bread man ministry, and we used to give out truckloads of bread. And we could go to Demarest and go to a shopping center and have 18,000 loaves of bread. And people would come, and we'd be 2.5 hours, we'd give 18,000 loaves of bread away.
Yeah.
And they'd say, well, why is it free? Who's giving it out? Is it the government? And we says, nope, it's not the government. It's God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
so
it's
good.
free to you. And take what you need, but more importantly, take
Mm-hmm.
somebody might need it more.
Yeah.
However, getting here wasn't free.
That's
We
so
need to
good.
put gas in if you want to leave a nickel, dime, quarter to pay something towards it. If you can, that'd be great to help the next community get their truckload.
Mm-hmm.
So just bringing them in an environment, I guess, is the point. And the bread man asked me once, he said, "Why do you do this?" I said, "Because it makes me feel good." He says, "Wrong. If it makes you feel good, that's for you. You're not serving God. You're doing it to serve. And whether it's not going to always feel good, because when it doesn't feel good anymore, you won't do it."
Yeah.
So I learned a lesson there. And when I look at businesses and organizations like yours, you're serving everybody to show Christ-like behavior.
Right.
But I just was wondering how deep that went with you and how comfortable. And I know Duke's got many ways to share Christ in a non-threatening way. And I just want to make sure you pick up on some of the things he's going to be able to share with you.
Yeah. I think that's particularly hard too in this world. I think a lot of people look at Christians and the first thing that comes to mind is hypocrisy. Right.
Sure.
Like people are like, you believe in God, you're called to love, but you're not loving. And they see this all the time. And admittedly, that's real, right? There's so much of this Christian world that is not representing the love of God to his own people. And I think that maybe should put a mirror in front of our faces of like, are we following Jesus in the way he's calls us to? And that's a really, really hard question to ask, right? But it's very real. So I think when people do love them the way that we're called to, it sticks out like a sore thumb. But maybe shouldn't, but maybe it should in this world of darkness.
Sure. Yeah. How would other physical therapists learn what you're doing? Do you have a way or a information you can get, or maybe our audience would be working with a physical therapist and they could ask them to contact you to find out what you're doing?
This is a really good question that I think we're actively trying to solve. I don't know what the right answer is. I think that for starters, just awareness is the biggest hurdle we're trying to get over right now.
Yes.
I think there's just a blatant ignorance that physical therapy like ours exists. We get so many people that come in because Sam or a friend referred them, and they're like, I didn't know this was an option, right? I was just going down to the Ohio Health or Ohio State Hospital because that's what I thought all there was for physical therapy. And once people learn who we are or experience how we operate, it's a no-brainer for people because they're like, I'm seen, I'm loved. But we don't know. We're trying to figure out the best way to relay that information. I think these conversations are super powerful. We were just on Mark Reeves' podcast as well, who I believe you're having in.
Right.
So that was awesome. And we're just more and more conversations and more people talking about, hey, do you want to get cared for? And then sending them that way, I think is a really good starting point. But we definitely are actively trying to solve this problem of like awareness. And then I've got a couple ideas baking as far as how to bring up new physical therapists, because in the same problem, they're unaware that I can exist outside of this insurance model, this big hospital system. And like physical therapists have one of the highest burnout rates of all careers in the first 5 years, because you just get worked, productivity so high. And
so your core values, I'll use Chick-fil-A. Not everybody works for Chick-fil-A's a believer.
Yeah.
However, they have those core values that they as a corporate from top down, and they train those people to serve in that Christ-like behavior with using those core values. So I'm hearing that's where kind of you want to be known as.
Yes.
And as you hire people in, they've got to come to grips with who you are to be comfortable with working with you. And you'll take all comers because everybody's convertible or they're saved.
Right.
And they can help do that.
Right. Very much so. Internally, we talk about those core values at every meeting, right? Like that is very known. Like, hey, we are here to call, to love, to serve, to be excellent at what we do, to build community within our walls in our city. And we're called to empower people to better take care of their health, right? We talk about that at every single meeting. This is who we are at the deepest level. So internally, absolutely. Externally, we got to find some way to funnel people in of like, I want to change the world, or I want to do more than just work. We've got to find those people that are like there or have the capacity to step into something greater.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like since you have the ministry with a workout facility, that people certainly could get referred to go work out, if I've worked out all my life, COVID hit me pretty hard, and then the vaccine just was. But I guess up 4 years ago, still could bench press my own body weight.
It's pretty incredible.
But I've done it, for 50 years. So one of the things that's the most difficult for elderly is muscle mass, losing muscle mass. And so to me, working out is not an option. You just have to do it. Yeah. And
yes, what you keep telling me. And so I haven't been doing my stretching all these years. And my son just challenged me to play golf once a week this in 2026.
That's good.
And I'm as stiff as a board. I can't stretch. I'm unstretchable. What do you got advice for me? I'm in trouble.
Start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Start somewhere. This is we don't need to actually get into this, but like the people say all the time, right? It's not the diet itself that changes people. It's being on a diet, right? There you see 100 diets. All you got to do is pick one.
Well, I get ready to commence to start to doing it a lot.
Sure.
To take Duke's words.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, but now I've made a commitment. So yeah, I may be showing up to start. You got a stretching program?
Yeah.
We've got plenty of programs to help you, brother.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys like me.
Sure.
Yes.
That need to be stretched.
Yeah. Could you, just thinking out of the box, could you go to the physical therapy school at Ohio State and say, hey, why don't you have some people come and observe what we're doing? Would that ever be an option?
Yeah, we do this currently.
Okay.
So I graduated from Ohio University, and I teach twice a year there to the PT students to give a lecture, and the topic of the lecture is about more physical therapy type of stuff. But again, we talk about who we are, right? Like I can't deny that. I can't hide that. So, hey, we're talking about this PT stuff, but like, this is who we are and this is how we implement it. This is why it works different, why it works better.
Right.
And every single time I'm there, I get a long list of emails like, hey, can I come observe you? Can we come hang out? Because it's different. It's different than everything they're exposed to in school. It was a whole new world for us when we were in school, and we have students come observe all the time, and it's really awesome to show them like there is a different way to do this.
Right.
There's a better way to do this, and that's an excellent thought and idea, and we want to do more and more of that.
Because I'm sure there will be people in our audience that not only are using physical therapists, but they have a relative. And how nice it would be that people know that you are in full-time ministry.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing with it. And Tom and I both feel so strongly that, Ephesians 2:10, God gave you and I talents. I'll only be held responsible for the talents he gave me. I don't have to know anything about anybody else's, but God gave me talent and knowledge to use. And the most important thing is sharing Jesus Christ. My mentor, who helped me with my second book, Zig Ziglar, you probably don't even know that name, do you? No. See, Tom, you see how young these people are?
You'll equip him.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, but Zig is very well known, and I knew him 28 years. He mentored me, and 7 years he tried to get me to write that book, Kevin. I said, I'm too busy. I can't do it. So he called up the office, and he said, tell Dr. Heller the first chapter's due on my desk in 30 days. I will not talk to him. Tell him not to call because I won't talk to him. Well, guess what, Kevin? In 30 days, first chapter's done.
Yeah.
Then he called back and said, still not talking to him. In 2 weeks, I need the second chapter. But one thing he taught me was that, and the core of this book, Helping Men Finish Well to Any Age, is you and I have to invest our lives in the people who will be sitting in the front row of our funeral. And, so many men get caught up in building whatever they're building as far as a profession, or they're climbing this ladder, and they come to find out at age 50, 55, their ladder's leaning against the wrong wall.
Yeah.
because it doesn't have purpose.
Right.
And so Tom and I are so excited about just helping men, certainly starting in Central Ohio, Kevin, but to have them become involved or have a place to go to find out different ministries.
Yeah.
Because I think men really want to do it, but many churches don't even have men's groups to help them get involved.
Sure.
And so Tom and I are hoping that these podcasts will give men a source. And our videographer, Chris Jones, does such a great job. He will take this and then we'll put it in a YouTube channel where people have 20 or 30 ministries they can become involved with or to learn. We had a young lady that Sam referred to us. We did her this morning, and she's helping male and female walk along people that got cancer.
She's so good.
Yeah, and she's good.
amazing.
Yes, yeah. And so we had just a wonderful time with her here today, and it gave both of us ideas about how to help people.
Yeah.
I had a wife that I was married to 60 years, and she got cancer, and it's been be 7 years. In March, she went home. So one of the things I do is I'm very involved in men's ministry. You would call it overkill, and you'd be right. I'm involved in 8 men's Bible studies. But Kevin, I bump into 174 men a week.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many of them say, hey, can I go to lunch? Because they're either looking what they're going to do with the rest of their lives, or they want to know, does my life have purpose? And to be as young as you are and find purpose, oh my, what a gift that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And how old is your partner?
He's 28.
Okay.
So you talked about building community. Do you tell me a little bit more about the community aspect? Do you have Bible studies? Do you all those things? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, there's tons of ways that we're building community, both in like a typical Christian sense, like Bible studies and things like that, as well as just eclectic community as well. So we have different Bible studies or small groups throughout the week. There's one that's on Wednesdays that is like tied to a lift, which I particularly love. So guys come in and they get a lift in, and then they talk about scripture and talk about their lives and things, which I love. I think it is the most powerful thing, because what guy in their 20s, 30s, whatever, doesn't want to pump iron? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, what a great way to invite someone to a Bible study without it being scary or intimidating or like walls going up because the church hurt them. Like, come get a workout in. You know what I mean? Like, come get a workout in, and you're around guys that will love on them and support them. And so that's like one of the most unique ways that we build community. There's also, we partner with some churches around Columbus that will come in, they'll bring their small groups in and run their own thing, but we give the space to them to operate and to do their thing. So we love supporting those as well. But then also, man, just the way that our coaches and our team like facilitate community, people come in and they feel like they belong. Whether it's part of a Bible study or just part of the gym. Like, we have group classes, and these people are creating like deep friendships, and they're hanging out outside of the gym, and you just go in and you're in a space where you feel seen, valued, and loved, and it's a community. Like, I hesitate sometimes because it's such a buzzword, community. I think we use that a ton, but like, I look around, I'll sit down and just watch sometimes, and I'm like, there's no other way to describe it. Literally, there's no other way to describe it. And so I think that's a huge way that we do it as well. Our coaches know who we are, right, at the deepest level. So they love people, and I think that facilitates community really, really well.
Great.
Yeah, yeah. All men like to, not all men,
Not all men,
most men like to pump iron.
especially
okay?
in their 20s. I mean,
Right.
I feel like
It's, you'll find this of interest. When I was in high school, it was taboo. They say if you lift weights, it'll shorten your muscles, or if you can't swim because that'll elongate them. And then I was the dentist for the athletic teams at Ohio State when Woody Hayes was there, and he did not believe in weightlifting. So anybody that was caught weightlifting, they had to run laps. But you see, all the kids lived in the dorm. So here's these big, strapping young guys. They all got weights underneath their beds, right?
So good.
And so they would have a workout period, and every once in a while you'd hear, the old man's in the house. Well, that meant Woody was there. He was walking, so you always got up from your bed to go see him
Mhm.
so he didn't come and maybe see the weights underneath.
Yeah.
But all of those guys lifted weights because they knew, obviously, it gave them not only strength, give a lot of them confidence that, I am strong enough to do this game.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that just as Christians, I think one thing that a lot of us lack in is stewarding our bodies well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's maybe just a missed opportunity to treat our bodies like the dwelling space that it is for God. And it doesn't mean it needs to be led with vanity or any of these image things, but stewarding your body well from a health perspective is honoring God. It does glorify God if you do it the right approach, and it leads you to be able to do all the fitness things that you have done for all these years, right? I understand you're a big power walker, right? Like for all these years, like it leads you to be able to do these things. It leads you to be able to reach all these men for so many years. And so like we are called to steward our bodies well too. We're just called to do it in a particular way.
Right.
And so I think that's super important that more Christians can probably learn how to do and probably should.
Right. You tickle my ears because the first book I wrote was called Your Body, His Temple. And I taught people not only about exercise, diet, nutrition, but that the spiritual component of keeping your body under constant surveillance. And one of the easiest ways, of course, men can get involved is jogging and lifting weights. But after 42 years, I still have the same trainer. And so, I go to him twice a week, and it's so neat because he's watched me over all these years. And then obviously, even with weightlifting, you lose muscle mass.
Yeah.
And so I'm so pleased with what you're doing. It's neat when people make business as a mission. Yeah. And that's so important. And so how do you think men that maybe have heard this podcast, could they come and help teach Bible studies or be involved in Bible? What could the men do that would help you with your ministry?
It would make me so happy to have every single morning and night of our calendar filled with Bible studies and men or women leading Bible studies. We've had numerous women at our gym talk about leading women lift in Bible studies, so we're like getting that rolling. But yeah, men can come participate. Like the very base level. Like again, we have a really cool gym in Central Ohio and Bexley, and so it's reachable for all people around the city. But come and just exist.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, you will meet some people in all walks of life. So talk about building relationships and evangelizing and talking about Jesus. Like what a cool way to do that. And so at the very least, like come check out our space. It's pretty incredible. And if you want to lead a Bible study or join one, come and do that. I think that there's some element of like starting something there that could be super powerful. But if you're not a physical therapist, it's hard to come in and do physical therapy on people and lead the ministry that way. But yeah, I think those are really easy ways men and women can come exist and participate in the ministry.
Yes. Well, Tom, did you have any other questions?
No,
Okay.
I just need help.
Yeah. Well, I guess we all do. I can't thank you enough, buddy, for coming and being involved. And so I really feel that this ministry is going to be such a value to men that want to find their space in serving Jesus. And so many men, they get to age retirement, Kevin, and they just don't know what they're going to do. All of a sudden, it's on them. So hopefully, people will learn about your ministry, and who knows, there could be somebody they're 2 blocks from your ministry,
right?
And they say, "Well, listen, could I do this?" So if they want to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
That's a great question. I'll have all the info. I'm sure we can put this in the
We
YouTube
can.
show notes of my email. If this is public, we'll throw our website on there and stuff like that
Sure.
that people can reach out to. We're very active on social media. I don't know if you guys have Instagram, but we try and be very present on there for people to follow us and keep up with things. Or stop by the gym. We're right in Bexley, Elevate Human Performance, and we'd love to chat with anybody who's interested in learning more about what we do or how to get involved in things like that.
Okay, Kevin, well, let me close in prayer,
That
please.
sounds wonderful.
Dear Heavenly Father, we know that our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit that lives inside of us. And thanks for Kevin and his partner, the ministry they have. They want to serve people, not only stay healthier, eat healthier, but to have a correct perspective of how they could use the talents you've given them to use it in the life of many people. So, Lord, obviously we want you to come back soon, but until you do, we need young men like Kevin that are willing to step out at a young age and use Jesus in their business. So we just thank you in advance. We ask you to bless him and his ministry and his desire to serve you, Lord. So thanks again, Jesus, for who you are and what you do in our lives. Your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So you make a good day. You can make it anything you want.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the May I Share podcast. If today's conversation stirred something in you, don't let it stop here. Check the show notes to learn more about our guest and how you can get involved. If this podcast has been a blessing to you, consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear it. And be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Until next time, remember, you are blessed to be a blessing.